The Las Vegas Grand Prix was a good one. The race was entertaining and many fans across the world saw it as one of the best this season. But before we hit the track on Saturday evening, a lot was said, and especially by reigning three-time world champion Max Verstappen. And now, after the race, he must face the backlash of his behaviour. Stick around to find out what happened after the Grand Prix. Verstappen's behaviour and criticism on the new Las Vegas Grand Prix during the weekend, and particularly after qualifying, was met in two ways. On the one side, many fans across the world appreciated the fact that a sportsman of his standing talked so honestly and openly about the overall climate in Las Vegas. In short, Verstappen disliked the show business, claiming that a gullible fan who watched the first day of practice nearly entirely skip him would tear the whole place down, and referring to the Monaco Grand Prix as the Champions League and the brand new event in Nevada as National League. At the same time, the three-time world champion's candid but firm words caused controversy at Formula One, which has invested hundreds of millions in the Las Vegas event, but also most likely at Red Bull and its many American partners. So it's not unexpected that Verstappen then expressed himself in a much more favourable manner during some post-race discussions on Saturday. But I already expected it to be a good race, on such a circuit with long straights and slow corners. It was really fun today, but that wasn't the problem either. That's what I want to say about it now. The sudden change did take some viewers by surprise, but according to Dutch newspapers, Verstappen met with someone from F1 a few hours before Saturday's Grand Prix to discuss the topic. However, it's unclear if the meeting was sought by F1 or Verstappen himself. Even Father Jos, who was also in Las Vegas and, as we all know, is never short of words, thinks his son might have addressed himself more gracefully a day earlier. Not that Verstappen's dad believes the world champion should suddenly act like a grey mouse, far from it. But he believes the driver's words went too far. I do think he can say things, but in this case in a neater way. I told him that directly, Verstappen Sr. said. Once in a while he needs that too. I also think the battery is running out a bit with a lot of people. But that Max likes racing, you saw that today. I do understand his opinion, but you can't kick blindly at everything. In the end, it all came together for Formula One. After all those millions invested, the sports management will have sighed a sigh of relief. To say the least, only the loose lid put a damper on the weekend, but the race more than made up for it. Verstappen was the winner in the end, dressed in a unique Elvis race suit. Verstappen was penalised 5 seconds for a battle with Charles Leclerc at the first corner, which he said was right. This put him at a disadvantage on the street circuit, but in the end, the Red Bull driver just raced to his 18th win of the season and 53rd overall, matching Sebastian Vettel's total. Verstappen was especially pleased with the final stages following the second safety car incident. He had to overcome Pierre Gasly and Oscar Piastri before joining leaders Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc. The Dutchman had the last laugh, with Leclerc passing Perez on the final lap. Verstappen's teammate did, however, finish second in the championship rankings, a first in Red Bull racing history. It was full throttle to the end. We could really push on those hard tyres, laughed Verstappen, who has to manage the rubber perfectly in many races. He was also fortunate that his front wing was not severely damaged during a previous fight with George Russell, who was later punished for it. I really enjoyed the race, he stated. It's safe to say that Verstappen's cough had certainly subsided by the time he spoke with the media following his 18th victory of the season. Verstappen, singing Viva Las Vegas as he crossed the finish line, denied having any worries that the racing itself would produce a nice spectacle at the new street track. It was a lot of fun there, he said. With the DRS as well, that helped a lot for very good racing here. Also, I think the low degradation with the tarmac here, you can really push on the tyres, which I think was good. So yeah, it was a lot of fun out there. I hope everyone enjoyed it a bit, and we definitely did. Already excited to come back here next year and hopefully try to do something similar. The switch of tone and criticism before and after the race, however, wasn't met with enthusiasm by everyone. Jolyon Palmer went as far and said Max Verstappen's poor attitude towards the Las Vegas Grand Prix weekend was embarrassing, from bemoaning a clown performance to singing Viva Las Vegas. Verstappen was one of the most vocal critics in the paddock, claiming that the drivers looked like clowns at the opening ceremony on Wednesday night and that he'd seen better tracks in my life after second practice. After qualifying, he remarked the race was 99% show, 1% race, adding, "Monaco is Champions League, and this is National League." In less than 24 hours, he was roaring out "Viva Las Vegas" as he returned to the pits as the Las Vegas Grand Prix race winner, his 18th Grand Prix win of the season. Palmer says it was embarrassing for Verstappen. Honestly, some of the comments before this weekend, even during this weekend, the negativity has been embarrassing. Max has been very critical of the event and it's been a tremendous success, he told the BBC's Checkered Flag podcast. "We say the proof of the pudding is in the eating. It's blooming delicious. I think the best Grand Prix of the year certainly is in the top few, and it was a big crowd. Okay, some of the American tastes isn't for everyone, big introductions. But I remember when I was racing at Silverstone, all the drivers were mandated to go to London on the Wednesday before to go and do some loop-de-loops up Trafalgar Square. And it was a fun event, but we had to do it. Lewis Hamilton famously didn't turn up. But that wasn't really a problem. But heading down to the centre of London, an hour and a half, 2 hours away from Silverstone to go and do that, I think it was on the Wednesday night. Sometimes when you have a big event, you have to promote them a little bit. It's the inaugural Las Vegas Grand Prix, and I know there's a lot of razzmatazz, and I know sometimes the US way of things, the big driver introductions that we've had in the past, aren't always to everyone's taste. But the F1 in the US is booming. 2 of the last Grand Prix that we've had before this year have been great. Austin, and then this one. I just think let's wait until you have the race to see if we think it's good or not. And generally, it's great. You can't 1 minute say this is a shambles, this race, if Monaco is Champions League, then this is National League. And then 50 laps later, you're singing Viva Las Vegas's in an Elvis suit. Come on. Palmer believes the Grand Prix on Saturday night was the best race of the season. The race started with aplomb and a move for the lead and loads of incidents further back. And then it finished on the last lap. There was a move for second place. I'd love it if it had been a move for the lead. But of course, Verstappen in 2023 is winning everything. I don't see another race beating this one. And Jolyon Palmer isn't the only one that has been more than positive over the race and critical on Verstappen, as after all the pre-race criticism, especially from Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton characterised the Las Vegas Grand Prix as one of the best races of the season. Surely one of the GOATs knows a thing or two about new tracks, right? Following the practice incidents in which a leaky water valve cover damaged Carlos Sainz's Ferrari and Esteban Ocon's Alpine, FP2 was delayed by 2.5 hours and fans were ordered home before on-track running started, leaving everyone with a bitter taste of the first day in Las Vegas. The race, on the other hand, saw 82 on-track overtakes, the second most of the season after the Dutch Grand Prix, and 5 lead changes. After recovering from a puncture caused by collision with Oscar Piastri, Hamilton finished 8th and believed the race had done more than enough to be regarded a success, thus dismissing Verstappen's initial comments. "The race was great. It was one of the best races," Hamilton said. "So many people, all the media, everyone's been so negative about this race and about the show and all that. We needed to just let it be and see how it went. It was a great race. It was like Baku, but better." There's been a lot of negativity about having 3 Grand Prix in the United States, and people are talking about bringing back the old classic races from Europe. This has provided a better race than most of the tracks we go to. I think really hats off to the people that run the show, and I can't wait to come back and hopefully have a better race here next year. Vegas put on a great event. Next year is going to be even better. Now we've gone through it and there'll be loads of learnings. I'm really grateful for Vegas for having us. Verstappen, in the end, tempered his opinion on the race after winning, stating that his complaints about the race were never about the track itself, but this was only after meeting with officials from F1 before the race. What are your thoughts on the criticism from Max Verstappen himself, and the backlash he has received over the weekend? Has he gone too far this time? Let us know in the comments.